Hey guys, it's Kim, and this video is very special to me as I finally can say I achieved a hobby dream of mine, and that was creating a Oldhammer style Araby army. Every miniature you see is an official Citadel model, and I'm beyond proud of the state of version 2.0. So in this video, I'm going to show you all of the units, discuss a little bit of the work, and explain the history of this army. So I first want to jump into the history of this army, and it all stemmed from my oldest brother Young Ook, and I cannot thank him enough. 8 years ago, my brother had mentioned he wanted to play Warhammer when it was dead, and he wanted to play Dark Elves. However, he wanted to play them as Araby, and I thought it was such a fantastic idea. But with real life and him being in the military constantly deployed, the dream never got off the ground. So basically, as a big love letter and thank you to my oldest brother, I wanted to create him this Araby army. And about 8 months ago when I made Mark 1 of this army, I was a bit disappointed. I was rushed and it felt like I wasn't capturing the feel of what I envisioned. And I know my older brother, some units were missing that I think he would want to play. So over the past 2 weeks, I had 3 main goals. Number 1 was to bulk out the units. I kind of wanted everything to look more uniform, even though they're Oldhammer, so my Corsairs should look like a rabble of pirates, my monks should look all like monks, and my spearmen should be spearmen. My second goal was to make all the models Araby miniatures. If you were following my journey 8 months ago with my version 1, because I ran out of time, over half the models came from talisman and different armies, and I had to make some lore justification that they were mercenaries. So I intended to make all the models Araby. And my last goal was to add detail. You're gonna see some work in progress of how I added details to the banner, touched up some freehand, so every miniature got some extra love if they needed it. And I really think it elevated this army to a new level. So what you're going to see next are just clips of all this random work in progress. After it should be maybe 5 minutes, I'll go straight into again the army and showcase each unit and discuss more detail about them. Jumping straight into the work in progress, I knew I had to add more detail to my banners, and this has been bugging me for many months now. So I started adding some brass rods into the toothpicks. Then I grabbed some of the classic Citadel shields. I'm going to use these as banner toppers. I'm trying to match my Midas banner. So you can see I carved this moon shape as I am trying to make them more Araby related. Once I carve them, I add a small ball of green stuff and flatten it out, as this will be the base of the gem. Once I do that, I just add some green stuff to create metal rings around the toothpick. Then I'm going to grab some super glue and attach the shields into place. I'm going to paint them as non-metallic silver, so it's going to look more like, again, like a standard topper with a gem in the middle. And I think this small detail just makes the banners look more impressive. I will end up going back to all of my armies and adding this small extra detail. I just think they looked a bit too bland, even with the crazy freehand I did. And after I did that, you can see I'm going to add small rivets to some of the metal rings. Again, just extra small details to add some kind of realism to the banners. And here you can see the Corsair having that gem in the middle of the banner topper. Just looks so much better, adding detail to the back just to make it look like the Midas banner. And here you can see I started putting the rivets onto the green stuff, really makes them pop now. And onto something you've all been waiting for, I'm going to make a flying carpet. So I'm going to make a character on this flying carpet to count as a Dark Pegasus because Renegade allows us to take one. I'm going to grab some parchment paper, and then I'm going to grab a decent chunk of green stuff. The goal is to create a basic rectangular shape, and this one takes really no effort and skill. Just smash it with your fingers, take your time. This step should probably take you less than 10 minutes. Once you have the shape, you're going to grab any silicone tip tool or even a paintbrush, coat it in hand lotion, any brand should work, and gently roll the green stuff to make it a uniform texture and no indents. Once you have the shape done, we're going to grab both an X-Acto knife and a metal sculpting tool just to trim the edges, as we want the carpet to look manufactured, so it should be sharp on the sides. We're trying to avoid that slightly bumpy edge and rounded corners. Now that we cut out the rectangle, you're going to grab your hands, put some Nivea hand lotion or anything like that, and do one last overpass to make sure all the sides are smooth and the overall front and back of the carpet. Again, because we'll be doing a lot of freehand on this thing, we have to make sure it is completely flat with no weird bump or imperfection in the texture. Once you have the shape ready, you're going to put it on the parchment paper, and to get the weird angles, I put some poster tack to keep it up while it dries. Now jumping straight to the miniature, this is a old classic Citadel fighter. He is simply beautiful. I did want to add my own twist on it, so I sculpted the back of the cape. If you own this miniature, the back half of the cape is very badly sculpted, so I wanted to add a new flair to it to go in the direction of the wind with the carpet flying overhead. I hope that made a little bit of sense, because the original cape doesn't look natural, so I had to create something to match the flow of the carpet now. But the miniature itself is really beautiful. He's very unique with this very almost 40k armor set, which I think is interesting. Now that the model is completed, we're going to create the base. I create my usual cork tower, and I put a giant copper rod going through it. We're going to pin it through the carpet and the foot of the miniature, because we want to create the illusion that he is of course flying over the battlefield, but we have to ensure the model is also structurally sound. So you can see I already pinned everything, and I started putting some basic green stuff as I want to sculpt some tassels at the corner. This was actually suggested by my fiance Sam, and I think this extra detail just makes the model look fantastic. So you can see I put some money bags behind the foot. I put a little maybe vase or pottery with the air elemental spirit inside of it, and I'm really pleased with how such a simple conversion turned the model into an awesome Araby character. And all in all, this whole sculpting only took maybe an hour and 20 minutes to get him to the stage. Of course, it isn't a lot like my usual stuff, but he does fit what I had in mind. And the last clip I have is of course creating my blood rack Medusas. It's an old classic Citadel Night Horror Lamia, and she perfectly fits the imagery of them. All I did was twist the head and bend the body into a more unique pose, and I went back with some green stuff to fix the neck joint. So fairly simple conversion, because the model already fits perfectly into the aesthetic of Araby. And now onto the army reveal, guys. And here you go, guys. I am beyond proud to share my version 2 of Araby. I think it really fits what I wanted to give my brother. So let's go into detail for each unit. So I want to start off with the flying carpet character. As you saw, the sculpting journey, and I wish I recorded this paint job. Maybe I would make another one, because this was absolutely fun to paint. The freehand really pushed me, and I didn't want to do something too complex. I think I landed on a paint job that I'm proud of, but it wasn't too excessive. I tried to make everything match and tie in with my blue motif and some gold. And overall, I think he's just so striking with the yellow cape contrasting to the blue. And having the falcon at the corner, I think is a very nice touch. There's a theme going on with my Araby where there's a lot of animals in the army, as it's supposed to be the land of magic and mystique, and I think having these animal companions scattered throughout the units is just a nice touch, and it is a challenge as everything is official Citadel miniatures. On to my next character. Again, if you want to see how I did it, please check my old Araby playlist where I cover everything. This is Suleiman from 5th edition, I believe, Britonia, and really proud of this old conversion. It was the first step into really pushing my green stuff, as the horse is half sculpted for the legs. The guy himself is about also 50% sculpted. And then the paint job, I'm really proud of the horse. I forgot the name of this breed, but in my old Araby playlist, I show the whole progress and the inspiration, so he's an iconic character to my army. On to the classic Citadel Foot Wizard. Now this model, really proud of as well. Check my older Araby playlist. The only conversion was the monkey on top. He actually came naked, so I had to sculpt the fur and add the tail, but besides that, this model is really beautiful, and I'm actually proud that I can finally use him as a wizard instead of counting him as a random warrior in one of the units. Up next is a iconic Dogs of War character. This is Sheikh Yadash. He's again a character that I covered in my original Araby playlist, and just want to showcase the freehand. He came out fantastic. No conversion needed, as I really do love the pose and the whole motif. You know, he's a bit chunky and fat, and I absolutely love it. On to another character that I was really proud of. It is the Jinn or Genie for my Araby army. Again, I keep saying it, check out my old playlist, but this model is such a fun model to work with. I encourage you guys to get the air elemental. Sculpting the vest and the turban with the lamp was really cool, and I'm happy I can use these models in my Dark Elf army, as they just count as Dark Pegasus, and I think it's thematic, as you know, they fly around casting magic. The next character is Midas, another iconic Dogs of War character. However, this Midas, I almost completely sculpted him. Check out an old video in my Araby playlist again. He's been demoted a bit, as he's not a character in my army right now. He's maybe a unit filler or could be a character, but I think because I have Sheikh Yadash, I need him in this army. He's such a lovely model, and I'm really proud of the freehand on the shield. Now onto my baggage train. This of course is Sheikh Yadash and the baggage train, or the cart that comes with the kit. It just makes sense to make this the baggage train, as it's on the proper base size. It used to be my blood cauldron, but I really don't run that thing anymore, so it's perfect. And I have another Sheikh Yadash on top. I just painted him a little bit differently and sculpted a cloth over the mouth, and I can assume this is the cousin or brother of Sheikh Yadash, who controls the money to pay all the guys. Onto another new character. It is my Blood Rack Medusa. Now I used to run the tigers, but I got rid of them as I wanted something more cohesive. And again, this is a Night War miniature, hardly converted, as she fits the build perfectly. Really happy with the color choice I went with, as she's venomous and poisonous. The cute thing I added was the frog on the base. That is the Bretonian frog from 5th edition, from Organa, I think. And I sculpted a little fez cap on top, and really happy to have this model part of the army now. And I intend to have one more, as I just love the snake motif. Onto my unit of Araby assassins. They will count as shades, and I won't go too much detail as you saw the sculpting in the previous video, but 4 of these models are heavily converted and sculpted, especially the unit champion. That monkey, all the fur is sculpted in the tail. He's essentially completely reposed. I don't mean to say it again, but my Araby playlist does cover this model in detail, but this unit was such a joy, a lot of freehand, and I love the classical Citadel look of all of them covering their mouths. I think it just adds that cool assassin feel that I wish more new miniatures carried. So really proud of this stuff. And the freehand, again, simple but I think effective on the Araby miniatures. Onto my witch elves. This unit are supposed to be Araby monks or eunuchs, and a lot of conversions and sculpting went into this unit. If you know the Mordheim merchant, I have actually 3 of these models, came in a job lot, and I had to resculpt the hands, the cloth, the arms, and the daggers. Check out my Araby playlist once again, I'll stop saying it after this. But this whole unit was such a joy as I'm trying to make them all unique, and that's something that I'm really proud of in this army. There's a lot of unique characters scattered throughout, and besides my spearman unit and maybe one of the monks, no model repeats themselves, as I want everyone to look unique. And again, with the animal companion, I have the talisman toad with the fez cap and the gold around him. So again, every single miniature you see on screen are official Games Workshop Citadel miniatures. All of my armies try to stay true to this, and for this Araby army, it really pushed me, and I'm glad I actually could create a unit or an army to this scale. And here you see my musician. I had to sculpt some giant leaves as he's like fanning the unit, so really had fun with all the characters. Onto another famous Dog of War unit. These are Mukhtar's Desert Raiders, and really lovely miniatures, almost no conversion besides all of the shields are classic Citadel shields, and the gems had to be sculpted, and all the weird feather things you see on the shields are freehanded, and the banner is also freehand. So this army has a ton of freehand, and I tried to make it as unique as possible. So you could see every single horse in the unit is a different breed. Really pushed my painting, and I would add more to this unit. However, painting this 5 models took more than a week back then, so I'd be hesitant to try to do it again, as the horses just took so much effort to make sure they looked right. And I think the Citadel horse is actually really beautiful. It just takes some much needed effort to make them truly pop. And wrapping up quite soon, this is the second to last unit. This unit I'm very proud of, heavily converted. So what you see is a Citadel Advanced Dungeons and Dragon dwarf that I had to sculpt the cloth, the helmet, and everything to match the talisman Saracens. I have about 13 of them in this unit. Quite expensive to hunt them down, but they look so beautiful, and I'm really proud to be the owner of this many. The model just screams Araby. It fits what I envisioned them, and every single shield has a unique freehand. So this unit really pushed me. The unit champion is actually my old Araby prince. He has been slightly demoted to be a unit champion, but I just want to make sure I can run all of the models I built. And I'm really proud again of the animal companion. This conversion required splicing quite a few models and sculpting everything to fit together. So this model does have a special place in my heart, as he was the original OG leader of my Araby army, but I think he fits fairly well into the spearman unit. Long-term goal is to expand this to a 20-man unit. It's 15 right now. To get 5 more of these Saracen models seems almost impossible. So at the moment, I'm happy it's at 15. The real dream is 20 though. And finally, onto the last unit. It is my Araby Corsairs. This unit is an amalgamation of all the unique characters I have. I do want to showcase a Citadel unreleased dwarf. This is the Janissary dwarf. Very honored to own this miniature, but this whole unit has a ton of conversions. At least 75% of the models in this unit are converted, and I think it just showcases what you can have the fun or freedom to do with Oldhammer. Because they're pirates and corsairs, each one can look unique like a buccaneer. So I do encourage people, when you create your units, just have fun with it. add a lot more personality to the units, and you won't regret it. But there you guys have it, my Mark II Araby. I am super pleased with it, and I hope my older brother does enjoy this gift. Of course, I'll be playing with it for a while as he is not here and he is deployed, but long term, this is meant for him as a big thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I appreciate all the support.